My friends, this is Dr. B, the best doctor in medicine. 30 plus years of clinical experience at high level in medicine. Today, Dr. B wants to explain to you why is it that we need to breathe oxygen. Why is it that in the air that we breathe, we need to have oxygen in it, and without it we die, right? If I make you breathe air that doesn't have any oxygen or has a small amount of oxygen, then you're going to pass out and you're going to die, right? We all know that. Everybody knows that we need oxygen, otherwise we die. But why is that? Why is it that we need to breathe oxygen? Pay attention to this. In the air that we breathe, there is about 21% of the air that we breathe contains oxygen, right? If that level goes too low, we pass out, we die, right? What does this oxygen do? When we breathe this oxygen, right, this oxygen is taken up by the hemoglobin in our red blood cells, right? These tiny little red blood cells in our blood. And those red blood cells distribute the oxygen to our organs, the brain, the heart, the liver, the kidney, the muscles, and blah, 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 right? Every one of your 37 trillion cells need oxygen. In an average adult body, average adult-sized body, there are about 37 trillion cells. These 37 trillion cells need oxygen, right? Now pay attention to this, and I'm going to explain to you. It's going to become clear why you need oxygen to live, to survive, right? When you eat food, right? This food is extremely rich in a form of energy that we call chemical energy. To understand chemical energy, think about the gasoline that you put in your car. That gasoline contains a huge amount of chemical energy. That gasoline goes into the cylinders of your car. The spark plugs are going to light up this gasoline. The gasoline is going to explode, and the chemical energy of that gasoline is going to create this fire, this explosion, which is going to be transformed into mechanical energy for your car to move, right? There is also chemical energy in the charcoal, in coal, that you burn to heat up your home, or that you burn to make your barbecue and to cook your meat. So a lot of things around us contain chemical energy. Energy, of course, can be chemical, can be electrical energy that is in your batteries, right? Can be mechanical energy of the wind that makes those turbine turn and generate electricity. So energy can be converted into different form, right? The mechanical energy of the wind becomes electrical energy, right? The photon energy of the sun, the rays of the sun contain photons. The energy, right, of the sun, the light, is made of tiny little particles of photons that have energy. They hit the solar panels on the top of your roof, right? And the solar panels convert the energy of the sun into electrical energy, right? The same way the food that you eat rich in chemical energy, right? This chemical energy, when you eat it, you don't want to burn it suddenly like you would burn the gasoline in your car, right? You want to burn this energy slowly, and you want to store it for when you're going to need it. Like right now, I'm not running, right? So I'm going to eat food. Most of the food that I'm eating that contains this chemical energy is going to be broken down slowly, and the chemical energy of the food's going to be extracted slowly, not like the gasoline that you burn and suddenly explodes, right? You want to extract the energy of the food slowly and store it. Store it. How do we store this energy of the food? There are different ways. One way is to store it in the form of fat. Fat has a huge amount of chemical energy. So the excess food and calories that you're going to eat, your body is going to store it in another form of energy, right? Chemical energy called fat. In 1 gram of fat, just 1 tiny gram of fat, you have 9 calories. Think about that, right? So fat is a good way for our body to store the extra energy that there is in the food that we eat. But there's also another way to store that energy, right? It is in the form of ATP. ATP is a complex molecule called adenosine triphosphate that can store this energy from food. And therefore we can use it for later. Again, when you eat food, let's suppose you eat a lot of food, right? You don't want to burn like you would burn gasoline. You don't want to burn all the energy that is in food. You don't want to burn it suddenly. You want to store it. So you store it into fat. You can store it into glycogen in your liver, right? But you can store it also in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Right? And then later, if I start running, my muscles can use that ATP, right? This huge chemical energy in ATP, my muscles can use it, transform it into mechanical energy and contract and make me run, right? The same way you burn the gasoline, and the chemical energy in gasoline becomes mechanical energy that makes your car's wheels spin. So this chemical energy that is stored into ATP gonna be converted into mechanical energy by the contractions of my muscles, right? Now think about this. When your cells burn this ATP, right? This ATP, this chemical energy, this ATP needs to be replaced regularly. And what allows your cells to produce this ATP in the first place from the food, from the energy of your food? It is the oxygen that you breathe. Without oxygen, your cells would not be able to produce ATP from the food that you eat. Therefore, all this energy that you eat that is contained in your food has to be stored for when you need it, in the form of this ATP. And what allows your cells to produce this ATP to store this energy from food so that you can use it later when you run, when you bike, right? When you exercise, when you walk around, right? This ATP, in order to produce it from the food energy, you need oxygen. So without oxygen, your cells would not be able to produce this ATP. And every second that passes, your cells constantly need ATP. You obviously need way more if you run, if you bike, if you hike, right? But think about your heart right now. It is pumping, right? Pumping of your heart is mechanical energy, like the pump that is pumping water, right? The heart contracts, mechanical energy. Where does this mechanical energy come from? It comes from burning the chemical energy of the ATP. The same way the mechanical energy that makes the wheels of your car spin comes from the chemical energy of the gasoline, right? So the chemical energy that is in the ATP, which comes from the food, makes my heart contract. So transforming the chemical energy of ATP into mechanical energy of the contractions of the heart. Same thing for your muscles. And same thing for every cellular function. Your cells, 37 trillions of them. In an average human body, we have 37, adult body I'm talking. We have 37 trillion cells. Each and every one of these cells need for functioning, for their chemical reactions and blah, blah, blah. They constantly need chemical energy. And that chemical energy comes from this ATP. So this ATP allows our cells to use the energy, chemical energy stored into ATP, and provide us with a healthy life. Without the energy from ATP, the cells would not be able to function, your brain cells would die, your heart cells will die, and eventually you die. So this ATP's energy, chemical energy, comes from the food that you just ate. And of course, in order to convert, once again, the chemical energy of the food into chemical energy in the form of ATP, we need oxygen. That's why when you breathe, you need to have 21% of oxygen. As the level of oxygen in the air that you breathe decreases, like if you go into higher and higher altitudes, you have less available oxygen to convert this food energy into ATP. So your reserves of ATP get lower and lower. You have less and less energy, less and less ATP available to your cells, because the cells use ATP to function. And eventually the reserves of ATP get depleted. Your cell's gonna die. After 3 minutes only, your brain cells, if they don't receive oxygen, after 3 minutes, they die. For your heart, after about 10 minutes, your heart attack, your cells undergo what we call necrosis. That's what happened in a heart attack, right? Your vessels get plugged, not enough oxygen reaches your heart. The cells of your heart, what we call cardiomyocyte, they die. In medicine, we say necrosis. They die. They undergo necrosis after 10 minutes. So for the brain, it's only 3 minutes. Only after 3 minutes of lack of oxygen, the cells of your brain, they die. After 10 minutes, the cells of your heart dies. So that tells you why we need oxygen and why oxygen is vital for your body, for your cells. It's very interesting. I don't want to go, of course, into the biochemical mechanism, blah, 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 because that's not the point. The point is to explain in lay term to people, average Joe, average Jane, with all due respect, why is it that we need ATP, we need oxygen in the air that we breathe. Guys, my channel is not made to teach medicine at high level. My channel is not made to teach medicine to medical student, nurses, doctors, blah, blah, blah. I'm here for you, the average Joe, the average Jane, so that you understand how our body functions, what you need to do to age gracefully, blah, 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 blah. I posted a video about why we age. Watch it. And I posted a video about one of the major flaws about this oxygen that we need. You see, this oxygen that we need, there's a major problem with it, and there's a major flaw in the design of our body. Watch that video, you will understand very, very well why we age and why this oxygen that we need in order to live comes also with a huge amount of problems and causes us a lot of problems. I love you guys. Dr. B, 30 plus years ago when I graduated from medical school, I took the Hippocratic Oath, which means I will never, ever, ever put my interest above yours. You come first. I will never BS you. I will always tell you the scientific evidence. I will never tell you my opinion. Everything I tell you is the scientific evidence, regardless of your gender, ethnicity, race, religion, blah, blah, politics. I love you. I give a big hug. And I hope to talk to you in the next video. Put your comments, your question, anything you want to ask. I will get back to you as soon as I can in my busy but beautiful life. God bless you guys. I talk to you next time. Bye-bye.